Somewhere deep in Jacknjellify's trash folder, Fanny has hands and a giant spider is hosting BFB. Today I'm gonna show you the most interesting scrapped BFDI ideas. The original BFB host. After announcer was gone, the creators of BFDI, Michael and Carrie, were looking for a host that would clearly stand out from the contestants. Now their initial pick wasn't an algebrailian, but a giant talking spider.
When we were trying to find someone to come after the announcer box, we wanted a spider. Remember that?
We did?
Yellow spider?
The creators quickly changed their minds and decided to add the characters for an X from their old educational video, X Finds Out His Value. Book's original design. And you guess who this is? Well, not Book. This guy's name is actually Dictionary, and he's a character from the online series Inanimate Insanity. Now, Dictionary tends to look a lot like Book's OG design, minus the blue line, but Book's final design looks a lot like Dictionary's initial design, so it looks like they traded each other's OG design. Last BFDI debuter. You probably have no idea who this is. Well, this is Cake Pop. Now, according to Carrie, they were supposed to be one of the characters who could have joined BFB in the episode, where 2 comes and messes around with 4's plans.
Your favorite BFDI?
Also, Cake Pop. I remember, wasn't Cake Pop one of the 30 characters who could have joined in BFB 16?
Yet we never really found out why this idea was scrapped. The alternative endings. At the end of BFDIE, we saw Fern's canon ending where Money remained trapped on the Nightmare Island, Sticker's ending where these 3 remained trapped on the island, and Sidewalkie's ending where all of the contestants except David remained trapped on the island. But let me tell you something, all these endings could have actually been canon. You see, the creators didn't actually plan to make Fern the winner. Instead, they prepared all of these alternative endings and then chose the winner based on who accumulated more votes along the season. Lightning's original design. In BFDI, some characters miss arms, some miss legs, but Lightning was initially supposed to miss both, same as Puffy. On the other hand, Fanny was actually supposed to have arms at some point in the creative process, as you can see in this storyboard. The original BFDI. In 2008, the Huang brothers became obsessed with a series called Total Drama Island. In 2010, they released their own version of the show, BFDI. But creating an object show was not their first intention. As revealed by Carrie Huang himself, their first project was something called Total Kid Island. Why that name?
I was 11 at the time. I thought the 16-year-olds in Total Drama Island were just, too old for me, too adult.
Now, among the characters, there were Vanessa, Laura, Olivia, and Gerald as part of the Murderer Trout, while Scott and Catherine were part of the Yelling Beavers. Of course, these team names were inspired by the ones from Total Drama Island. Now, Carrie explained that in the original plan, each team was supposed to have 6 members, 3 boys and 3 girls, but he didn't have enough female friends that could voice those characters, so he decided to make one of the girls voiceless. That girl was Catherine, which will later become the teardrop we all know and love. Now, when it comes to the boys, Gerald was actually inspired by Gerald McBoing Boing, while Scott was actually not inspired by Total Drama's Scott. You see, Carrie's animation was actually made years before Total Drama Revenge of the Island was released, so he actually predicted a future character. Pillow's bad word. You might remember this scene.
A true indicator that person doesn't give a fluff.
But did you know that in the original storyboard, the word fluff doesn't exist? Instead, the initial plan was for us to hear a censored F-bomb. Sloppy's BFDI. Back in the summer of 2017, the creators of the series stumbled upon a big problem. Their animation quality was growing. It might sound counterintuitive, but for them, the constant effort to keep up with the expectations took too much time, too much energy, and was really slowing down the creative process. In those moments, they started to miss the simplicity and playfulness of the OG BFDI, so they decided to create another season. One that would allow them to crank up an episode in just a couple of days.
We wanted to be able to crank out an episode in just a couple days, maybe using MS Paint if we had to, or Flash.
The initial name was Sloppy BFDI, but it was later changed to Battle for BFDI. Now, 1 year after this decision, they stumbled upon 2 new problems. A, the pace. At some point during the creative process, Carrie realized that 64 is a big number of contestants and that he might not be able to announce a winner until he's in his 40s.
That the season wasn't going to announce a winner until I was in my 40s.
According to Satomi, aka one of the BFDI voice actors and producers, one of the original solutions was to literally annihilate a big part of the contestants, the expectations. Shortly after releasing the season, the Huang brothers realized that the fans were basically split into two categories. A part of them was there for the low quality, low stakes BFDI-like episodes, and the other part wanted to see longer story arcs, more character development, and more polished animations. That's the moment when the big split was decided. 4 and a part of the contestants would remain in BFB, while 2 would take the others and create Teapot, Marker's original voice actor. Among Marker's voice actors, there are Michael Huang, Joseph Pak, and of course Carrie Huang. But did you know that Alex Lyon, aka Marker's OG creator, actually proposed to voice Marker himself in the show? Unfortunately, Jacknjellify had to decline that offer, not because they wanted to, but because Alex Lyon didn't have a high-quality microphone and lived way too far from the rest of the other Jacknjellify team. Yet we can still hear Alex Lyon as the voice behind Marker on his YouTube channel.
Did you ever get drunk before? No. Of course not.
4's lost introduction. Remember 4's introduction? Black Hole was about to end the contestants. A blue hand stops them. And then we are suddenly introduced to the most powerful BFDI character yet. But in the original plan, 4 was supposed to initially come up to the contestants, enthusiastically say,
"Hey guys!"
and then use his powers to stop Black Hole. Swap genders. During one of the first BFB storyboards, we can see that Loser was referring to Nelly as him. According to Satomi, Nelly was initially supposed to be male, yet her voice actress, Catherine Sun, sounded feminine.
Can you do this?
So they decided to swap Nelly's gender. If Nelly would have remained a boy, it would have been similar to how Golf Ball sounds like a boy even though she's a girl.
Golf Ball sounds like a boy, even though she's a girl.
Balloony's alternative death. Right before 4's arrival in BFB1, we can see Balloony being sucked up by Black Hole. But this was not initially supposed to happen. Instead, Balloony was supposed to first cheer being alive, and then get popped by one random flying fork. Purpleface's original storyline. You see, Purpleface was actually supposed to be the 64th contestant of the BFB cast. But then Carrie got an idea. Why not have a contestant called Loser? Strange idea, but then Satomi remembered the piles of winners and losers from BFDI, and that's how they came up with Losers and later on with Winners designs. But there was a bit of a problem. Michael and Carrie didn't want Loser's body to look like a rebranded Blocky. Thus, Michael proposed to place his face on a vertex. Not gonna lie, I like the whole Loser arc from BFB, but I would have loved to see more interactions between Yellowface and Purpleface.
It is I, Purpleface, and I have stolen your win tokens.
You fool! You clown! You absolute chromatic aberration!
Pencil's alternate suck-up. Remember when Pencil was eliminated in BFB 2? Well, in one of the original files, we can see an alternate animation of her getting sucked up into the exit. Talking about animation changes, in BFB 8 you can see this scene with gelatin. Yet this is how the scene was originally supposed to look like. Dora's rant. Take a look at this scene.
Be quiet, Dora, or else your football hair is gonna fly into your pie hole.
Now, in the original plan, Dora's response would have been much longer, yet Michael decided to scrap the idea since all that talking would have weakened the comedic effect. Non-existy's appearance. Before BFB was complete, the creators actually considered adding Non-existy as a contestant, but they quickly realized that this would have been a waste of a slot. Another interesting fact is that in a scrapped storyboard of BFB 3, it was actually planned for Ruby to ask for why Non-existy wasn't included in BFB, on which 4's response would simply be,
"That's not a real person. Don't waste my time."
This would have left Ruby very disappointed. Now, most of these rejected ideas come from BFB, just like the majority of the show's animation mistakes. If you want to see a whole lot of cursed scenes, I've got the best video for you.